So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And as you might can see in the background, we are talking about a different book today, on a different website actually, because I actually only looked up for a book and on a specific topic, which is sales. Because I do believe that sales is something important for quite everyone, whether it's actually selling yourself, even though it sounds a little bit weird to be honest, or you're selling your product, or you're selling your service, or whatever you're selling. I think there's always something to sell, and therefore knowing what to sell is just something that might be a great way. The book that we are going through just right now will be about getting new clients, so actually lead generation, I think it's called. I'm not that quite educated in this space, so therefore I want to get more educated in this space, because I do think it can be important for me, and therefore I'm just seeing, okay, I just looked up the best books. Why books? Because I think there are reasons why people put out books, and most of the time it's not some kind of a person, and especially if they have good ratings and they got, they really got, reviewed by a lot of famous marketing or sales platforms or communities or whatsoever on a list with the best sales books ever, which is actually this book that I found through this kind of a search. And therefore we're going through New Sales Simplified from Mike Weinberg, which seems to be one of the just books in terms of sales and lead generation especially. And actually see he has a blog. I might be checking it out right afterwards. And I do just have to say I'm currently on somewhat of a website. I don't even know. It is called sellingsherpa.com/somewhat and sales simplified book summary. So therefore just another getting sued, or you can actually see it right there. Yeah, you see? But yeah, I think we will go on with the video. So what I actually wanted to say is that this is a fairly short one. This is a fairly short summary. It's not quite a summary, it's only a few points and a few great kind of insights from the book. And therefore I do think we will actually then just afterwards just check out another book summary of this one to actually get a few perspectives, which is, at my point of view, pretty important so that you can get actually the most out of these just kind of free insights into these books. But yeah, therefore I'm also having the opportunity to not being so stressed out with me reading, and therefore being able to maybe provide even more value than I'm actually able to produce while just doing it with a just really, really long summary. On the other hand, I do just have to say, I just built some kind of a trust with all the other websites that I've been on just before, and therefore it's always just some kind of a new thing and a new just maybe challenge, a new fear, a new difficulty to just be on another website where you aren't just really, really sure that this is going to be a great episode in terms of the quality, in terms of the information and the quality of the information. But yeah, New Sales Simplified by Mike Weinberg. As I said, I'm on the sellingsherpa.com, I think, website. And yeah, so here are my key takeaways from this book, which is, hopefully you can just see it. I really hope. But yeah, the first one is be perceived as someone who brings value and helps solve businesses' problems. I do believe this is always the point that you're just having to make if you're having a new product, if you're having a service. You do just always have to solve a certain problem, whether it's from a business or whether it's from an actual customer. This is, at the end, it's quite the same thing, because even though it's a business, it's, just a customer for you as well. But just being able to be the best solution for this particular problem is, I think, the key you have to go for. If somebody has a problem and they immediately associate you with this kind of problem in terms of you actually being able to solve this problem, this is actually, I think, the best sign you can have as a business, as a product producer, as a service provider, and whatever you can be. The second one is maintain discipline and focus to gain traction on a defined target set of leads. I don't know, but there's the word of maintaining, and I do think that you should just maintain your effort, and you do just not be like, okay, I got a few clients and that's okay, but rather being like, okay, I'm gonna get more and more and more. And actually, I think that I was talking about and thinking about quite just today was actually, why wouldn't you just pitch a lot of clients? Just pitching clients in general, I think, isn't just a really the most difficult thing, but actually just keeping up with what you just tell them that you're actually able to do is a completely another thing. So therefore, actually being like, okay, I want to sell you this stuff, and then actually outsourcing what you actually promised these people might be even working. If you're just telling them, okay, I'm gonna make your logo, even though I could do it, it's a lot of work to do, and I might be way faster to actually hire somebody from any website and just give them work. I will just keep a lot of the money. I will just give a few of the bucks away for me actually having more time and not being crippled by actually having to just really do the client's work as well, besides what I'm actually doing right now. And I would actually be able to pitch a lot more clients and to just, generate even more, money, because I would just outsource this as well, and so on and so on and so on. This was my thoughts, actually yesterday and today, because I actually seen a video of, do you know Ayman Gatsi, I think? It's with G. I don't know what the rest is actually spelled. But he's actually an SMA dude. He's pretty young, quite the common entrepreneurial young boy who actually does SMMA, so social media marketing agency. But as long as it works for him, as long as he just makes his money, why shouldn't he do it? Even though he is young and he's just some kind of a this common person who is doing this kind of stuff. But yeah. The third thing is go into sales calls with a solid plan and share it with the prospect. Now we're actually going into the one-to-one just conversation tactics, I think. And I think this is actually a great way to actually show them, okay, where you want to hit and where you want to go, where the journey will lead. And because I do think just not being quite able to kind of navigate your journey yourself and being quite just really pushed into some directions is really not something that clients want to have. And yeah. So therefore, just providing them with the actual things you're going to talk about with them or the things you're going to do with them might actually be one of the best ways to just introduce yourself or to just kind of introduce the whole conversation. Dedicate blocks of time on your calendar for prospecting, honor the times, and stay on task. The fifth one is know your company's strategic direction and the competitive landscape. Totally important, especially knowing what your competitors are doing, what they're doing, how you can just do something else that's just putting you a little bit more up than the others are at the moment. Totally important, just being able to just watch what the competition is doing or just actually doing it as well. Sixth one is align pay with business goals, typically by raising commissions on new businesses and lower commissions on retained businesses. So align pay with business goals, which for me just means, okay, if a business wants to get a higher goal of your service, then you're just paying them more. Or, which is also something that I quite think about, if businesses that do just have the ability to just pay you more, you should actually do it. And for all these companies that are not actually able to do it, then you should not do it. It would make sense, even though you just, favor then the people that are having not as much money as the people who have much more money. Maybe it's not right as well. So what are you thinking about this? I'm not quite asking you enough. I kind of feel like. But yeah. The seventh one is attend but don't necessarily exhibit at trade shows. I think in terms of attending, it's more about networking. I do not quite know networking. I've never been on just a networking event or whatsoever. It could be important for a lot of people, I think. For me, it's nothing I did yet. Maybe we'll do it in a few months or a year or, whatever. It always depends on what you're doing, actually. But it could actually be working, I don't know. I've, once here, I think that this is actually something you should not do. I once hear that this is actually something that a lot of people do. And this is always just, some kind of the problem. People say, okay, it's great. And some other people say it's not great. And then you just have to reevaluate for yourself, okay, is this something I need? Is this something I want to do? Is this just worth the time? And so on. The 8th one is pick 4 or 5 dream clients and work at them over the long term. Yeah. And actually, you can actually just do it like, okay, you have 4 to 5 clients a year and they just give you so much money that you're actually just having enough that you only have to work at those 4 to 5 clients. Or you could go the way with, okay, I'll have just 30 fucking clients and this will be just, every client every 2 weeks. Yeah, quite nearly every 2 weeks. So you're just working on one client for 2 weeks and another client for the other 2 weeks and so on, and doing this your whole life long or the whole year long. Might be a little bit too stressful, mightn't be actually as productive as you could be, or would make it as productive as it could be. But yeah. The 9th one is stop talking about yourself and your company and begin leading with the issues, pains, problems, and opportunities and results that are important to your prospects. This is the problem that I'm actually having right now. I do quite know anything about my fucking audience. And this is my problem that I'm quite having. I do not know quite a lot about them. And I do just have to put out stuff and just see, okay, what's the engagement doing? Often I'm actually not, quite looking at the engagement and not quite looking at the metrics that I'm getting. I'm just quite failing off, or not quite just doing it well, I think. I'm not quite able to do it because there are not as much people for me as it would be possible, some kind of. To really just see, okay, this is what my audience, which is not there, this is the problem, wants. And, what general the people who are watching my content actually want to see. But I hopefully will just see it in a few months, or maybe I'll have to just, look at my own Instagram more often and the metrics more often and whatsoever. Telling a compelling sales story with the following 3 parts. The first one is the client issues. The client issues addressed, so actually sharing with them or actually just labeling their problems. Maybe they just, say we just didn't make enough money the last year and we just fear that we are not making it this year as well. Then maybe you're like, okay, your sales strategy sucks, or your marketing strategy sucks, or your fucking customer sucks, or your just employees suck. And then just, kind of labeling it or quite addressing it. Then B is offering an offer. And C is differentiators, which is what makes someone different. Okay. The 11th one is, I think it's totally right. Just actually labeling that problem, then giving them an offer. Okay, I can solve your problem. I can solve it in a good way, but I'm not quite sure about the differentiators. I'm not quite sure what they mean by saying this. But yeah, I think I'll move just on. Is there enough left? There's quite a little bit left, actually. It's not that short as I imagine it to be honest. The 11th one is use a casual, comfortable tone rather than an overly formal sales voice. I do believe that this is very important, and I do believe that this is actually something that it could definitely be working, but because I quite know that people just know when you're just trying to sell them something. And I think they just hear it by the tone of the voice you are having, by the way you're acting, by the way you're just engaging with them, just the feeling you're giving them. I do believe that people just have a pretty great instinct in terms of actually just recognizing and evaluating what people actually want from them, whether it's something positive or negative or something neutral, and actually what specifically do they want, in terms of the actual context they are talking to the certain person. Use the following phone call script. A is a hi or the prospect first, it's rep first and last with rep company. Let me steal a minute. So hi, the first hi should be from the prospect first. And then it's the time of the rep first and last with rep company. I don't know what he means, but then you should actually say, let me steal a minute. Okay, B would then be, I head up client relationships for specific area. What the fucking hell? I don't know, I'm quite sure, sorry. C is right now a lot of prospects, job role, use, rep company because prospect problem, we help by rep solution, strive to reference any pre-call research here as well. Okay, I hope you got what I actually meant. If not, I totally suggest you to go through the summary on your own. I'm not quite going to just put the link in the description because I just know that I just will forget it. So therefore, just look up a new sales simplified summary, and it's actually is the first link you will just be seeing. In my country even, I hope it is the same thing with you. But actually on the Selling Sherpa, it is SELE. So Selling and Sherpa with SHERPA. A. But let's move on actually. And these, let's get together to see if we might be a fit for you and ask for a meeting at least 3 times. Okay. 13, sit literally and figuratively on the same side of the table as the prospect. I exactly, or how should I say, okay, I did an episode exactly about what it means if you're just sitting on the exact same side, if you're sitting around the corner with the other person on the other corner, or just like on the other side of the corner, and so on. If you're interested in it, just Google for something like body language and my name or my YouTube and whatever, and you will definitely find it. Unfortunately, I didn't put anything in the description, so therefore the Google search might not be as accurate as well. So therefore, it shouldn't be just, it shouldn't just matter if you're just typing it in on YouTube or the podcast or just on Google itself. But yeah. But yeah. 13, sit lit. Oh no, I read that one. 14th, use the following in-person discovery meeting outline. A, brief report building. What is actually report? Okay. The first one should be brief report building, which totally makes sense for me if the translation is actually right. Because actually just not having just a really sad or mad or negative connection to this person or being in a negative atmosphere with this person while talking about something that might be leading to a sale for you could be totally problematic. B is confirm the available amount of time, which means like, I think that they're asking them, do you have some time for me? Do you have a minute? Or something like this, or I think. C, spend no more than 5 minutes optionally with slides covering the first one, company overview, the second one, issues we solve for clients, and the third one, how we solve those issues in a differentiated way. I think differentiated in a way that they will just really just do something for a company, and they will do just something completely different for another company. So they're not doing the same shit for both, actually quite hoping that this is actually going to work. And the fourth one is current understanding of prospects' situation. Okay, so the first one is the company overview. The second one is issues we solve for clients. The third one is how we solve those issues in a differentiated way. And the fourth one is current understanding of the prospect's situation within this little kind of dash. You know what I mean? Yeah, I hope. D, spend the bulk of the time asking questions to better understand what their situation is, and take notes definitely, because forgetting this might be very, very fucking crucial for you not being able to quite help them. E, share relevant case studies and solutions based on specific prospect situation. Which I think doesn't necessarily have to be from your company. You know, if you're actually having the access to some other relevant case studies for their specific company or niche or whatever you want to call it, or in whatever kind of area it is, I think this could actually be great, because it's something kind of a testimonial. Testimonial is if you just worked with someone and you just, tell them, okay, write something about how good I was with the job and how well that I did with the job. And then you have some kind of a text where they just outlined how good you were. And then you actually can show this to other potential customers to actually kind of pursue them that you're actually good at what you're doing. Yeah. And F, or the last one, is schedule the next step with action items for both prospect and sales person. Okay. 15th, split prospecting time into thirds covering A, hot opportunities, B, active deals, and C, targeted prospects who are not yet active. And the 16th one is overall the book is simple, practical, and relevant. I especially appreciated the detailed phone call, voicemail, and face-to-face meeting outlines. If the book has a flaw, it is in its editing. Like many books in the genre, there is too much repetition and it jumps around between generic motivational advice. For example, performers and sales don't wait for anything or anyone. The banal don't cheap out on shoes and your carrying bag, and the meaty stuff I cite above. I do quite think that this is just something people want to do, and people kind of feel like they have to do it because, even though the funny thing is, if I would write the book, I think definitely write a book about being, self-development because this is my area, this is where I'm just, what I'm just doing, quite. The actual thing is I'm quite doing everything that I like, so now I'm just talking about sales. Before I've been talking about other things. Maybe I'm just talking about human people. And maybe I'm just talking about things that I'm interested in. I don't know. I would definitely just change my my products and what I'm actually going to record and what I'm actually going to put content about out. If I actually know my prospects and actually know my clients or actually my target audience. And but as I said, this is very fucking difficult for me, and especially I think in the space that I am, so the self-development and motivational and whatever it is space, because a lot of people just kind of just get used to it, and they kind of, I don't know, maybe just have to wait, Often I just come to the conclusion that I'm always just waiting for some kind of a shortcut, that I'm just willing to get where I want to get just, immediately and whatsoever, which is actually kind of not a flaw, but it's something you shouldn't just work for. You should just work for the moment. You should be grateful for the process you're having, because if you don't like the process and you think like, okay, the end goal is just the one thing that you always just wanted to have, I think this is just a bad and not really right assumption, because how would you be able to get to your goal if you really, really fucking hate or, dislike the way you're going to actually get to this certain place? This is something then a little bit of a struggle. But for the last 5 minutes, I think I'm actually going to go through the other one as well. Because I do think maybe there is something in it. I don't know, this is always the case. There could be something in it, but maybe... No, it's actually working. It is quite a long one as well. I don't know if I actually gonna finish it. Maybe I'll just go through it a little bit and see if there is something I'm just enjoying and whatsoever. I think the first things are Okay, the main takeaways. Yeah, I think it's even great to start with the main takeaways. Maybe I'll go through this one. Yeah, I think I will. So I'm on the Josh Terrell with double R and double L.com website, which is or seems to be a blog, and he actually seems to have either listened or read the book or whatever he did. And this is also some kind of a summary of the book. So the main takeaways. Sales is about understanding customers' needs and showing them how you can fulfill their needs, which makes sense, and we have just been discussing just before. Most salespeople are afraid of prospecting, finding new customers. I wouldn't say afraid, but I do think that is quite a hard thing to do, or I just don't know how to do it. This could also be another thing. Because I just I think I just really want to try out what is working like with clients. If it's in terms of designing something for them, if it's in terms of actually managing the social media stuff and creating content for their social media, whatever it would be, I'm still quite interested in it. And I think I'll just, seeing if there's a way for me to actually do this. And if there's actually the possibility, I will definitely show you how and how I came to the conclusion and whatsoever. Yeah. I'm sorry. So here I started. You fucker. You motherfucker. I actually started here. Yeah, you can totally see it. The purpose of meeting with a prospect is not to convince them how great your company or product is. The purpose is to identify what the customer's needs are and to help connect them with your product if it will fulfill their need. Salespeople need to look for an exposure for exposing the client's pains and needs. Sales is more about asking questions and listening than about talking conviction, whatever. Articulation value is the salesperson's job. The salesperson's perspective, salespeople are problem solvers, value creators. Clients are benefited by talking with the salesperson. Clients can be helped by the product, and the salesperson helps this client realize exactly where and how through questions and discussions. So if you had a magic wand, what would you change? A tool for exploring customers' pains. Totally. I think this is actually the problem that I'm just been trying to let you understand quite before. I'm actually trying to understand what my people need and what the people out there need in my space. I do understand that maybe a lot of people need motivational tips. I don't know, could be a case. Maybe even, I'm on Quora, this website where you can just answer and ask questions, which is totally great for this some kind of a research, because you can totally see, you can look for certain spaces, and there's also a self-improvement space, and you can totally just look all the questions up that all the people just recently asked. And then you can totally see, what they're up to, what is something that's on their mind, what they are just interested in, and so ever. The problem is that are not particularly the people that I'm trying to serve. Maybe it might be actually, I don't know. Maybe we should actually go for it. The sales story is the most important sales tool. The sales story answers what's in it for the client, why choose you over your competitors, and briefly who you are and what is your product. Building blocks of sales stories in order. Going to go through. I think I quite have to go through this. The first one is the client issues addressed. I'll read it, even though we have just been talking about it before. Pains removed, problem solved, opportunities enabled, communicate what is in for them. Offerings simply, and so the second point is offerings simply and concisely. It's CONSISELY. What we sell, services, solutions, and products. Differentiators, why we are better and different than the others. So this is actually the differentiator. And the power statement is Mike's single-page sales story. It is his replacement for the sales elevator pitch. Okay, quite interesting. So the first one is 1 to 2 sentence headline describing who we are, who we serve, and what we do. It gives context and allows the customer to classify you. A strong hook to transition into client issues addressed. Example clients like you, use, us, when, and so on and so on. List of client issues addressed. These are the 5 or so most prevalent pains, problems, and opportunities your product addresses. The fourth one is the offering, a brief description of your product, 1 or 2 sentences. The fifth one is transition line into differentiators. An example would be, our product is different and better than what you can find in the market because. Then the differentiator, 5 or more of the differentiators. Mike stresses a lot. Discovery precedes presentation. This means you can't pitch a product to someone until you figure out who they are and what their needs are. You should know about the person you are selling to, why did they accept the meeting, and what are they motivated by, their organization, and about their buying process. Who makes decisions to buy. Nobody wants to hear about you or your product. Nobody cares how great you are or how great your product is. Prospects want to know what is in it for them. They want to know how you can help them. Totally important. Salespeople must, for every interaction, have a clear goal and benefit for the customer. Salespeople must make it clear they care about the customer and they must not seem completely self-focused. Totally important, and I totally understand why you should actually go for that. And with that being said, I hope you just understood everything. I hope you get something out of it. I might be going through this book as well, even though this was just the main takeaways, so maybe not. I think quite interesting, quite just some small insights into, what way you could go. Just maybe a little bit value for those people who are actually working in sales. I don't know. I'll see. But yeah, with that being said, and with the intro being passed, I do hope you have a wonderful day, or you had a wonderful day or night. And yeah, I hope everything is good. I wish you the best self-help, happiness, wealth, and success. And do not forget about to take action and just be the nicest person on the fucking planet and think about your legacy. And with that being said, I wish you the best, and I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe. Hopefully.